Hi, are you considering getting a credit card, or are you unsure about why you should even bother getting a credit card? Or have you just moved to the UK and you don't have credit history and want to get a credit card? Well, in this video, I'm going to be specifically talking about why you should get a credit card and what the advantages of getting a credit card are, and what are the key factors and criteria that you should consider. And if you stay until the end of this video, then I'll share personally which credit cards I have and why I have them.
Get strong.
Hello and welcome to my channel, the Nimble Nomad. My name is Arjun, and on this channel we specifically cover the tips, tricks and hacks to survive and thrive in the UK. I also share my personal experiences which help and enable you to apply the tips that I talk about on my channel. On this video, I'm going to be specifically talking about credit cards and why you should get them. And before I get into that, I'm just going to clarify that I am not a qualified financial advisor. If you are seeking to make some key financial decisions on the basis of this video, then I suggest that you seek professional advice before doing so. So why a credit card? Used well, a credit card can be a flexible way to make purchases, and it can also be used in a way to spread the cost of big purchases and big ticket items. A credit card also helps you as a borrower and helps build a credit history, which can then help with your credit score and enable you to get bigger credit for big ticket items such as a car or a home. So now I'm going to cover the key advantages of a credit card. So a credit card is easy to carry and use. You basically have a simple card that you carry around and you don't have to lug a whole bunch of cash with you, which is therefore easy. It's safe and secure, so as I said, because you're not carrying cash with you, you just use the card as and when you need to make a transaction or make a payment. You can buy now and pay later, so it's a great way if you've got a slightly more expensive purchase that you want to make but you don't necessarily have the cash for it, so you can buy now and pay a month later when the credit card bill gets generated and is due for payment. So it allows you to almost build your capital as a result of that. Protection. With a credit card, you're protected for most purchases over £100 and up to £30,000. So for example, if you made a holiday booking through your credit card, which I'm sure in this current scenario a lot of people have, then through the booking that you made via your credit card, you are automatically protected. This is because in the UK there is something called an Article 75. If in the event of making a booking or a purchase through your credit card, the service provider or the agency that is selling you the product or service goes bankrupt or is unable to fulfill the product or service that you've purchased, then the credit card agency will step in. So that this provides you an extra layer of protection as a result of using a credit card as opposed to pure cash. Finally, my favorite part of having credit cards, rewards. So when you have a credit card, you automatically become eligible for rewards. It obviously depends on the credit card that you're getting, but you can get things like air miles or hotel points or discounts or cashbacks or vouchers. There's a whole array of things that you can get on credit cards. So now that I've managed to convince you that you should get a credit card, how do you actually get one? So there's basically, in my opinion, there's three fundamental ways of getting a credit card, and this is specifically targeted at people who have no credit history or not so great credit history in the UK. So number one, this is actually the easiest way of getting a credit card is to get an add-on credit card. So an add-on credit card is, for example, if your husband or wife already has a credit card, or even if your dad or mom has a credit card, then what you can do is you can get a add-on credit card, which is a supplementary card on their credit card, which basically, if you make purchases on that supplementary card, the purchase gets recorded as a transaction as part of their bill. So this is not necessarily enabling you to develop your own credit history or your own purchase history as a borrower, but it at least gives you a credit card. Often when you get a supplementary card, you have very similar, rewards and eligibility as the person whose credit card, or who's the main credit card holder, whose credit card you've gotten the supplementary card on. So option number 2 is when you're opening a bank account, or if you have an existing bank account, you can apply to get a credit card through your bank if they offer one. Typically, it's quite easy to get a credit card if you do that, because often the bank will know your financial history. And because you bank with them, they have access to your accounts to see how much income you're making, what your outgoings are, and what your savings are like. So therefore, they can do a better and more probable risk analysis on you. And this can often be an easier process because you will be eligible for, because your bank is likely to give you a credit card because they can see your bank account history, the amount of cash you have, and your spendings and outgoings, and therefore they're able to make a more detailed assessment on you as a borrower. One thing to keep in mind is often on a basic credit card that a bank account is providing, the credit card will not have the rewards and things like that I mentioned, but sometimes there are exceptions to this rule. So option 3 is a price comparison website. So in the UK, you have price comparison websites for all kinds of things, for insurance, for holidays, for mobile contracts, for utilities. Similarly, you have them for credit cards as well. And what you can do is you can go on to any of these price comparison websites. So the main ones that I've used are USwitch, Go Compare, or Compare the Market. And what you can do is if you fill in your basic personal details or financial information, they can then do a search for credit cards on their websites that they offer. And based on this, they can provide you with a view of which credit card you'd be eligible for and what the likelihood of you getting that credit card would be. I'll talk about this more further down in the video. I would recommend using this option only if you have no credit history or a bank account in the UK. Be aware that there is a likelihood that even though it says you're eligible, you may get rejected for a credit card if you apply, which can then impact your credit score. How do you apply for a credit card, and what considerations should you make before applying for a credit card? So number 1, income. This is the primary factor which defines whether you are eligible for a credit card and whether you are granted one. So lender or a borrower will typically not issue you a credit card when you are unemployed or aren't earning a steady income. Income is the number 1 factor which defines whether you are eligible for credit or any sort of loan actually. Before applying for any credit card, please check the criteria and requirements, because often credit cards have a minimum salary requirement. And if you're applying for one which has that, then please make sure you hit that minimum requirement. So number 2 is a credit score and what your credit score currently is. This is not a defining factor, but is one of the parameters that a credit card provider will check before granting you a credit card. Basically, a credit score does is it provides a reference point for the lender to assess and determine the risk you carry as a borrower. You should definitely check your credit score before you apply for a credit card. And if you're wondering or need more information about what a credit score is and how it works, I did a video about this not so long ago. I will provide a link of it above. Please make sure to watch that video and familiarize yourself with a credit score. Point to note, a perfect credit score does not guarantee you your credit card. So there are many factors which define your eligibility for a credit card, as I previously said. So don't expect yourself to get a credit card just because you've got a really, really high credit score. So number 3 is the eligibility check. So as I said, when you go onto a price comparison website and you check your eligibility for different credit cards, it will tell you the likelihood of acceptance for a credit card when you apply for it. This is on the basis of various factors such as your monthly income, your outgoings, your history in the UK as a borrower, your credit score, all kinds of things, but it gives you a rough idea of your eligibility for a credit. My recommendation is, if you are applying for a particular type of credit card, just check your eligibility before you apply, because the last thing you want is to be rejected. Typically, the eligibility comes in percentages, so if it's a 10%, then there's 1 in 10 chance of getting it, but that doesn't necessarily mean that you will be rejected. You could be that 1 in 10 person who they accept. So thanks for staying with me. As a bonus in this video, I'm going to talk about my own personal credit cards. I mean, of course, choosing a credit card and selecting a credit card is very, very personal, but I thought it'd be helpful just to talk about which credit cards I have and why I have them. So number one is British Airways American Express card. So I have this card, or I've had this card for about 7 years. I've had this card because number one, it basically provides me with reward points, which I can use. Every time I spend £1, I get a point, which I can then use and convert to British Air miles. Of course, in this current scenario, I'm not using that. The other thing is, when you spend £20,000, and yes, that sounds like a lot, you become eligible for a companion voucher. The companion voucher actually allows me to buy a free ticket when I have a ticket. So this is a great way actually to travel. Obviously, we're not doing that as much, and the card is absolutely free, and you get some great discounts when you want to shop. So number two is a Gold American Express card. So this is not actually my card, it's my wife's card, but I have an add-on or a supplementary card on it. We use this for all our purchases. In the first year, this card is free to use, but subsequently there is a fee associated with it. Don't quote me on this, but I think it's about £120, but you can check that on the American Express website. We use this card because, again, like the British Airways card, you get points for every pound that you spend, but you can cash these in against any airline. So I think they have 12 partner airlines or hotels, or for a voucher, or for a cashback. So you've got a little bit more flexibility on it. And also, if you spend a certain amount of money within the first 3 months, then you get 10,000 bonus points when you're a new joiner. Similar to the BA card, you also get great discounts, but added on to this, you get 2 free entries into any airport lounge that are eligible through this credit card as well. The last one is the Hilton Honors Barclay card. So before I proceed, unfortunately, this card is no longer available. I was doing some research on this. It's just recently been pulled. But when I got this, I think it was 4 years ago, I got this as an alternate to the American Express, because the American Express is not always accepted at every store. So you can pull out your Visa card and make the purchase if your Amex is not accepted. Also, as a rewards card, it was probably the best one that was available. So when you spent, I think, £1,000 in your first 3 months, you were eligible for a 1-night stay free at any Hilton hotel. They would give you a voucher, and then obviously for every pound that you spend at a Hilton, you get 1 point, and when you spend a pound on grocery, fuel, or online transactions, then you get 2 points. So again, those points are eligible to be redeemed against hotel stay. So as you can see with all my credit cards, or all the credit cards we use in our house, we're very rewards focused, and they actually help us. I think we've saved quite a bit of money and had a lot of cash back as a result of these credit cards. So it's something to consider going forward for you when you apply for a credit card. So that's it for this video. I just wanted to share my experience on credit cards, but if you've got any other topics that you'd like me to cover, then please comment. And if you like this video, then please smash that like button and don't forget to subscribe. I'll be producing more videos. As always, I produce a video and issue it on a Sunday. So I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Thanks very much, and bye.